Hello, everybody. Jess Lowe, Structural Building Components Association, SBCA. It is 12/12/25, and it's another weekly update. Please forgive my informal appearance. I just drove back from the airport this morning after being at the OQM. Some icy roads, winter roads. I wouldn't quite call them Western, but I'd say they're probably fair to Midland, which means really thankful for four-wheel drive today. But beyond that, really coming back from the OQM, wow, Napa was a great venue. The estate at Yountville was our host for the last few days. The town of Yountville was very impressive. I had never been there, but came highly recommended from our past president, Jeff Taki, who, if you didn't know, the president typically sets the agenda for where we go for OQMs. Maybe not BCMC, but definitely the OQMs. We try to get their perspectives in there, but definitely a great place for us to have an OQM. Really good attendance. Appreciated everybody coming out there. We had a great week. Some highlights from that would be probably passing the 2026 budget in a board meeting yesterday, which is always nice. It's one of those things where staff plans, we get things together, and we kind of, wait to see whether or not the board is going to be on board with all of that. And then now we kind of move into more of an execution phase for different things for next year. A lot of times it's really just, business as normal. And really, as we kind of have hit a maturity level here with our staffing and everything, not a ton of changes. There will be some things that we talk about throughout the year, but by and large, we're kind of really getting into the groove and really being able to produce and provide the value for our members. But beyond that, within the board meeting, Ed Robbins PE, he was selected as an associate member for a one-year term on the SBCA Board of Directors. So congratulations to Ed. He's going to be a great resource. He has been a great resource to the E&T committee and to the association for a number of years. So it's great to see him step into that board member role. Beyond that, Tom Valvo with MyTech, he was renewed for another year. And just as a reminder, our typical CM and even our framer board member terms are 3 years. Our associates are one-year terms, and they can do three consecutive one-year terms before they have to kind of take a step off, which we did have one of those, retiring board members might be the way to say it. Although he's way too young to retire, you're going to have a lot of him left in the component industry. But Joe Halteman with Woodtech Systems, it was his completion of his third term. So we welcomed him with I don't know if we're seeing him off, but we gave him a plaque. And I think Nikki had to kind of really chase him down to make sure he got it. I don't know if he wanted to go and keep going on as a board member, but at least for the time being, he has to step away for a little bit. But really appreciated all the hard work and insights and all the things Joe has done for the association, for BCMC, and just being a really good valued partner. And everybody at Woodtech is really aligned with that. So really appreciate Joe's effort as well as everybody at Woodtech Systems. Beyond that, of note, our QC committee, a quality control committee, we've had some issues just trying to keep that committee populated. So what we figured we'd do, because a lot of the people that would likely join that committee are also members of E&T, we are, at least for the time being, and we can always change this if we need to, but the board, on the advice of the governance committee, chose to move the QC committee under the E&T committee as a subcommittee. So that allows us to continue the operations and we can see where we go and what we're doing. But as digital QC matures, as we are really, not seeing the ebb and flow of what, QC in the component industry is matured. And if you're not confident in your QC processes or any of that, please reach out to our staff. But really, we're not seeing a whole bunch of change here to there. And that's really with the kind of the maturity of TPI-1 as well. If you are unfamiliar with any of those requirements or what needs to happen from your regular inspections and any QA audits that are required by the code or anything, our staff and really the QC boot camps are meant to do that. So the quality boot camps, we are here to try to elevate the quality of the entirety of all trusses that are built. So really feel free to reach out if you're of concern there. But again, that committee for the time being will move under the E&T, and we've got a lot of really smart, great people, active members of the E&T that will be able to steward in the quality control aspects that anything that comes up for the association. So excited about that. Beyond that, discussed component craft, which I'll get into a whole bunch more over the next few months, but registration is open for that. So if you know somebody that is drawing building plans or house plans, let them know about component craft. Even if they're not in the Austin area where the inaugural event will be, maybe we gain enough interest in their area where we come to a city near them. But beyond that, the Structural Building Components Pack, that is active and live now. You can go to sbcpack.com to learn more about that. The Austin OQM is now open. So what we're trying to do is get you hooked into the next one, but really looking forward to Austin in February. Should be hopefully some warm temps. A pretty cool city, Austin. A lot of cool people go to Austin, and a lot of cool people live there. So hopefully you can be one of those that visits at least for a few days during our OQM. Beyond that, had some presentations throughout the week. The ICC process and how a code change proposal becomes an actual change into the code, and all the different steps that are taken through that. It's a beautifully complicated system that anybody can participate in. And that was really my point of wanting to have a session on that. If you are watching this, you can participate in that process, but you happen to the code and not the code happen to you. So be aware of what is changing and what's going on, and offer your opinions where you can. So that we can talk a little bit more about that later. But also we had an economic forecast from Dean Worley, from John Burns. I used to say real estate consulting, but it's not that. It's John Burns Research and Consulting. So sorry about that to all the JBREC folks out there, but Dean did a great job. It was kind of brought some humor into it. It was really good with the crowd that we had there. And then just a lot of other updates, strategic plan, all the other things. We had a lot of committee updates. Wanted everybody that was there to kind of understand the totality of what's going on with our association, because we've really grown a lot of participation, a lot of activity. So it's really difficult for people to get to have the full 360. So we're able to do that. And then before I get out of here, which we're getting a little long, but want to let everybody know that our staff, SBCA staff, is going to have a meeting next week in person. We typically are all spread out across the country. It's going to be in Montana, which is good for me, probably a few more icy roads, but I will appreciate not getting on another airplane, at least for the remainder of 2025. But that is what we're going to be doing next week. Obviously, we're going to be working, but if there's a little slow response or you need something from us, all the regular means and methods, feel free to reach out. We do have internet. We do have electricity. We do have heat, thankfully, in Montana. So don't worry about that, and we'll be able to stay in contact, even though it might be a little delayed. So with that, might be coming to you with a few of the staff members next week. We'll see what we do or what we can come up with. But thinking about that, I got some ideas are already rolling through my head. But till then, peaks up, press on. Have a great week, everybody. And we will talk to you all a little bit later. Goodbye.